Alright, welcome to scenario number 3 in the Vitoria 1813 campaign for General Desarmées, written by David Brown. This is the combat, or basically at the hill of Arinez. If you haven't watched the preliminary video, please do. That lays out the order of battle, the terrain, all that good stuff. Where this scenario is usually laid out for 18 turns, we are going to do 20 and possibly reevaluate at that point, just because the table's a bit bigger than they recommended. I think they have a 9x6, and we're playing by a 15x7. But I have advanced in a lot of the British forces farther than expected, and also the French are at the halfway mark, so we'll see. We'll just kind of play it by ear, as we do with a lot of things on this channel. Also, instead of Portuguese troops, I've repainted, retouched up my Hanoverians, so 4 battalions, same classifications as or same statistics as the Hanoverians. As the Portuguese are standing in for. Just using guys I just finished painting, so that's kind of more fun. They're still under the command of General Power. So boom. So that's it. We're gonna go ahead and roll for ADC availability and start turn 1 off with a bang here. Alright, hang on. Alright, General Picton will be rolling 5 ADCs until turn 6, where he'll pick up another one unless something disastrous has happened. That's when his cavalry arrives. And General Laval will be rolling 5 ADCs throughout the whole game. If the French had won the last battle, he would be gaining an adjutant, but they did not. So, alright, let's do ADC availability. Laval ends up with 2 ADCs, kind of stinks up the joint, and Picton gets all 5. So here we go, baby. So after some measurements, looks like the British guns are going to have to advance or get the French to come closer. 65 inches does not get them to the French lines, which sucks. All right, well, that's okay. Now we got to do ADC placement. That's going to change some things that I want to do in my head. French guns won't be in range either, but they might have to count on the British advancing, which they're going to be doing. Alright, General Laval is going to have General Mocquerie, or whatever. I think that sounds good enough. That sounds French. He's going to have his 6-pounders on artillery assault, just in case the... no reroll, just in case the British get into range. And then over here for General Picton, General Power is going to have a forwards with the Hanoverians and a reroll with which brigade? 3rd Brigade, and then 2nd Brigade under General Colville just have a forwards and no reroll. All right, we'll set up for rolls, and we'll see which brigades are active. Roll for the British first, and see how it goes. General Brisbane leading 1st Brigade on the far right of the British line. Didn't quite get the orders correct. Didn't check his wristwatch. He goes hesitant. Everything else is active for the Brits. Let's do the same thing for the French. Everything for the French is active. I'll kick over to initiative here. The General Laval will be rolling 2d6, while General Picton will be rolling 3d6. General Picton gets the initiative. Nobody is on methamphetamine, so there won't be any charges this turn. So we'll start off with movement with British first. We'll do the forwards bonuses. We'll start off with General Power and the Hanoverian Brigade. Alright, they're going to screen forward 23 inches. That's a good move, and their skirmishers will go even farther. Those boys go flying forward across the battlefield. I did refer to them as Hanoverians because that's what they're painted as. But they're actually playing King's German Legion troops. So it's 4 battalions of the KGL. Oh yeah, same guys, different uniforms. Not too far from the French now. Definitely going to be in artillery range. All right, let's. We got one more bonus move here for the next British brigade. That looks pretty awesome. Heck yeah, Napoleonics, baby. French waiting for him. Oh, they're still down there too. Sweet. All right, I think it's Power, or is it Colville? That was Power. Here comes Colville next. All right, after movement phase, turn 1, General Vandeleur's 2 battalions stayed in march column, came across the bridge, moving this way. General Brisbane, hesitant. Probably could have deployed his skirmishers out, but no big deal. Just kind of holding firm. Artillery moved forward 9 inches. General Kempt, his skirmishers decided to, they're all veterans that are 95th and KGL light. They all went into skirmish formation and moved forward. So they can move pretty good. And then you've got this massive jumps by General Power and General Colville. And they have their skirmishers out front too as they scream forward after forwards tasking. Would have looked a whole lot better if General Brisbane would have moved, but that just didn't happen. French moved forward their skirmishers, and let's do some measuring and see if these French guns are in range, artillery-wise. None of the skirmishers are going to be in range, and that'll wrap up turn 1 if these guns are in range. Just give me a minute. The 2 French artillery batteries are in range. We got 2nd Brigade's guns. They're 6-pounders. We're going to fire straight ahead into these British gentlemen here. I've lost my pointer, which just makes me kind of sad. That's the 32nd. We'll get bounced through into the 87th as well. That'll be some bounce through, and that's not under artillery assault. So it'll be long range. So it'll be inferior battery fire from those gentlemen. All right, those guns cut loose. Let's see what they do. The 32nd and the 87th both suffer 1 casualty. Now we'll get a blast from these guns here with artillery assault, firing into 3rd Battalion KGL, would bounce through into the 4th. So, boom, and they will get the extra 2 dice from artillery assault. The 3rd and the 4th KGL both suffer a casualty as well, so not the best shooting, but at least they didn't damage themselves. Alright, we'll do an overhead view, and then we will end turn 1 and head on to turn 2. Start seeing the ridge, and we'll go to the side of the table, but you see the advanced British units closing in, the French line here. On top of the hill Arinez. There's the ridge over there. We'll get over there in a minute. Start seeing these troops. I guess they're from Baden, correct? Yeah, back here are the boys from Baden. And then in the village of Arinez, you've got the gentlemen, the 2 battalions from Nassau. The town doesn't look half bad. I like that. Thankfully I painted those a little better than I had before. I had nowhere to go but up. Let's just say that. Here's the rest, the other side of the table, looking at the French lines. These gentlemen are on the ridge here, at their skirmishers out front. Get another view at the General Powers and General Colville's battalion from this side of the table. And then we'll get into the boys that didn't do much. General Brisbane struggling, getting the eyeball from General Picton. And you start seeing this guys in skirmish formation. The light battalions moving forward with the British guns, and then General Vandeleur coming across the bridge with his 2 battalions. Alright, that'll end turn 1. We'll see you in turn 2 in a momentarily. right, time for turn 2. Let's see which how many ADCs each side has available. A little better showing for the French this time as they end up with 4 ADCs, and once again Picton's able to knock out 5 thanks to that double 6. Alright, British 1 initiatives will place their ADCs first. British are going to continue their advance on the hill of Arinez. They're going to give a reroll to right here with the KGL brigade under General Power. General Colville's going to get a reroll with his gentleman, and then trying to get back online, General Brisbane is going to get a forwards tasking and a reroll. Hopefully start applying some pressure to the French on the ridge. Take some heat off the main assault going in against Brisbane. They're attacking Australia, going in against the hill at Arinez. General Laval wants to take advantage of the British troops not being close yet, so he's going to go artillery assault on both of his batteries on the hill here, and try to inflict as many casualties as possible on the either the KGL battalion or Colville's brigade, or sorry, the KGL brigade, before they arrive to threaten his boys up here on the ridge. All right, so we're going to get some. And there's no rerolls on either one of the battalions. Only had 4 ADCs. Alright, let's see who's active for General Picton. And he'll have rerolls on boom, boom, and boom. Alright, not making it as easy on himself as he could be. General Vandeleur down here crossing the bridge. They get hesitant, not really knowing where to go in the line. Probably saw the artillery, better not mask that. Saw General Brisbane's boys moving, just some confusion, I'm guessing. And then unfortunately, I think General Power, looking back over his right, saw he wasn't online, wasn't sure if he was continuing to advance or not. He kind of shuts it down in confusion there. Okay, so 2 hesitant brigades for the Brits, and we'll roll over to the French, who have no rerolls, period. The French, with a smaller chain of command, continue to operate rather efficiently. Everything is active. For initiative, General Laval once again rolling 2d6. This time, General Picton rolling 5d6, right? No, 4d6. A rather easy victory there for the initiative for General Laval. Seizing control of the battle. He'll have his guns chopping away at some redcoats coming across the valley towards the hill at Arinez. Oh, okay. Charges, there are none. And we go into movement. And we'll be right back when that's done. I don't think the French are going to move. So we will do the British. We'll start off with the initiative. No, sorry, the forwards for General Brisbane. As best they possibly can, General Picton's force continues to advance. You see the Kemp's brigade in skirmish formation moving forward. Unfortunately, General Power, his brigade is hesitant. Oh, what's his name? Hang on. General Colville advances. His skirmishers are actually going to engage in musketry with the voltigeurs of the brigade on top of the hill of Arinez. Artillery continues to move forward. Unfortunately for Vandeleur, he's kind of didn't know where to go. And General Brisbane moving up his brigade of veterans on the right. Doing quite well. French held position. They're playing for time. Maybe no one told them that I've actually added 2 turns onto the game just because the map's bigger. They're like, we got this till turn 18, guys. I'm like, no, it's turn 20. We'll send out the email later on. They'll be like, no. All right, and boom. We do have skirmish shooting, so that'll be next. And we'll start off with the French. They have 6 bases firing at General Colville's 4 bases. I apologize. They have 5 bases getting 6 shots. They're able to get 2 hits, which equals 1 casualty for the British riflemen. They have 4 bases, so they would get 5 shots, but they are rifles, so they'll get 6 shots. It appears the British riflemen might have gotten some bum powder, as sorry, they have no effect. 1 skirmish hit, which causes half a casualty, which means absolutely nada. Oh, not good. All right, that ends skirmish shooting. The French guns are the only thing in range. The British guns are still basically advancing, so only horse artillery can unlimber and shoot. So that's not happening, even though I think I screwed that up at some point in my past. But hey, we're always doing this to get a little better. So both French guns, they're going to fire on the same target. I got to measure the range. They're going to nail these gentlemen again with bounce through into the 1st Battalion, 32nd, and bouncing through into the 87th. 34 inches puts these guns at long range, so these will be inferior blasts, but they are both on artillery assault with bounce through, so they're going to chew through these boys if they roll halfway decent. Bit of a mixed bag there. We'll get 4 casualties on the 32nd. Well, they have 3, so they're up to 4 now. 2 more onto the Prince of Wales' own. They're up to 3. We're going to get a discipline check here on these gentlemen. This battery was the one that was accurate. Those gentlemen screwed something up. They go low on ammo. They take a fatigue casualty. And General Laval is already moving one of his caissons over near that battery to resupply them next turn. So we'll do the discipline check for these gentlemen, and we'll see what the 32nd is able to do. Looking for a 7. Some tough buggers there from, where are they from? Oh, from Cornwall. All right. So they rock it out. We'll do a bit of an overhead view, as you can see where everybody is. These skirmish battalions in skirmish formation are pretty cool. And we've got some good shooting going on. Got some General Laval's definitely going to use one of his 2 caissons at the beginning of next turn. These gentlemen from, where are they from? Oh, Nassau. They're still chilling back here in my new building. They're liking it. At least somebody does. No, actually, I came out decent. I'm glad I repainted the other buildings I got from Charlie Foxtrot. They look a little better than before. The Ridge still not into the combat yet, but here they come. Thankfully, it's only turn 2, and some of these British brigades are already closing in. And boom, going on to turn 3, and this should just get that much better from here on. I'm excited. Okay, ciao. Also in turn 3, if available, the French can use a reserve ADC to bring on Raymond's reserve brigade, as now the British crossing over the river has been detected, and more French troops are moving in to help shore up the defense of Arinez. Alright, time for turn 3. I need to pick up some hesitant markers over here. I saw I left some out. Shabam! Alright, let's roll for some ADC availability. Just a reminder to myself, the British won initiative. No, they didn't. The French won initiative last turn. I apologize. Alright, Laval continues to struggle with this command structure. He's got 3 ADCs. We're rocking 4, I think, for General Picton. All right, let's see where they go. French placing first. For General Laval, he's going to do the caisson to resupply the low ammo artillery there. He is going to give a skirmish tasking over here to Maquire and or Maquire, and then a reserve tasking with a reroll for General Raymond coming in on the road behind Arinez. The Brits are going to try to do forwards commands with no rerolls. One on Brisbane, and then one on the KGL brigade over here on the left flank. And boom, that should hopefully bring everybody online if it all goes to plan. All right, let's roll brigade availability for the French. They'll have to roll 4 this time because they have the reserve brigade. Even though the French can seem to struggle with ADCs, they're not having any problems. They haven't had a single brigade be hesitant yet, which is, excuse me, pretty awesome. All right, British can't say that. Here they go. Let's see what we get for these bad boys. There's the template for the British formation. Here we go. Let's see if anyone's active or hesitant again. Oh, just General Kemp is hesitant. Everything else is good to go. Okay, for the initiative, 3d6 for the Brits and 2d6 for the French. General Picton seizes the initiative from General Laval with his top hat. It's too much. I got nothing else. All right. All right, no charges. British moving first. They have 2 forwards bonuses. Let's go ahead and mark those brigades. We'll roll them together. All right, good movement across the British line, except for General Kemp. Kind of got a little stunned. Probably just wanted to hold back. Didn't want to get too close to the cannonballs. Skirmishers did move from that brigade, though. The artillery continues to advance. They're not quite in range yet. They're probably next move they can get in range, and then they can start unlimbering, and hopefully they can start shooting at stuff. General Vandeleur was able to get his boys out in march column, continue to move up, probably come out of march column pretty soon before they get obliterated by something accidentally. And then we got big stuff. General Brisbane to the base of the ridge, got his skirmishers went up. They won't be able to shoot because they were in forwards. General Colville did... I didn't advance this side of his line. I got to do that real quick. And then the KGL under General Power moved up, and his skirmishers would be in a position to fire, but they also had a forwards tasking. All right. The French held firm. No big movement there. I was debating about these gentlemen here under Morgan, but I decided not to. And then General Raymond came onto the battlefield with his reserve tasking with 2 line regiments and 2 reservist regiments. I think the 28th and the 103rd, 1st and 2nd Battalion of both. Coming on behind, they'll be moving up onto the hill of Arinez to support Maquire. All right, it's getting dirty. All right, let me move these Brits, show you one more shot, and then we'll get into skirmish fire. Also, the 84th and the 87th have slowed their advance slightly. They have denied, bit gamey, but denied the French bounce through. Now they've moved back far enough, so artillery shells will not damage them as well. And boom, there's the end of movement phase, turn 3. Oh, that's awesome. All right, see you in a minute. All right, the British have initiative, so 2nd Brigade skirmish line of General Colville, his 4 bases of rifles will fire 6 shots into the French. I read this guy's name wrong, or I typed it wrong. It's Maquire. That makes more sense than what I've been pronouncing. I was trying to make him some kind of French-Scottish hybrid. So Maquire's skirmish line, they take 1 casualty from those boys. They will fire back, plus they have the skirmish tasking, blasting back at those gentlemen. So, oof. They have 5 bases, 6 shots, plus 2 additional, 8 shots. They rocked them with 5 skirmish hits, doing 2 casualties, blowing away a skirmish base, and now inflicting a discipline check because of the double 6. Oh boy. British skirmishers passed that discipline check. That'll end the skirmish firing because the other skirmishers had the forwards tasking, so they can't shoot till next turn. We go on to the artillery phase. 2nd Brigade's artillery no longer has low ammo as 1 caisson was spent in the ADC placement to get rid of that low ammo. Doing some good housekeeping here. Laval loses a caisson on the board. And let's get to shooting. Both French batteries will once again shoot at the right there, that same battalion they've been wearing out. We check the range to see if it's effective range yet. Range is 26 inches, so still in long range. It's going to be inferior battery fire against that British line battalion with no bounce through. Now the other battalion has stepped back slightly. French gunners are off still. Now they're 1 more casualty from those 2 battery blasts. Not big, not much of a blast, but 5 casualties to the 1st Battalion of the 32nd. And boom. That will bring an end to turn 3 as the Brits continue to advance on the hill of Arinez. French just playing passive, buying their time, waiting for them to get here. They're also waiting for General Raymond to arrive. General Neuenstein is still holding himself in reserve, waiting for some kind of counterattack, and defending Arinez, the village. And then we also have over here General Morgan on the Laval's left, holding the ridge as British troops begin to arrive on the ridge. These guys will go to half movement as they go up onto this tough terrain here. And as we see the other British forces filing onto the battlefield. Okay, boom. We will see you in turn 4, trucking along here at the hill of Arinez. Alright, it's turn 4. Time to see how many ADCs everyone's got available. They're still rolling 5 aside. Alright, I'm going to try to move this chair out of the way without falling over it. Give you a little bit of a... Sorry about that. And you get a free kind of flyby on the battlefield. Okay, let's roll some dice, baby. Picton's command structure dominates again with 5 ADCs. French not too far behind. They've got 4. Alright, 4 turns in. Let's see where the orders are going. I can't remember who won last turn. I think it's the British, but we'll go with that. And if I get it wrong, we'll figure it out. The British are putting their faith in their rifle-armed skirmishers as Power gets a skirmish tasking and a reroll here. Oh gosh. Colville, same thing with his 3 remaining bases. And also over there, Brisbane, but he doesn't get a reroll. Only got 5 ADCs to work with. French are going with the gods of the battlefield. They're doing artillery assault on both their batteries. Going to try to hammer somebody back into the Stone Age. Here we go. Let's see which brigades are active for Picton. All right. Unfortunately, Power with the KGL shuts her down. Still more confusion up there, working on his English. All right, let's see how the French do. They haven't had anything hesitant this turn, so that means they should get, this entire game, excuse me. That means they should completely be hesitant this turn. Now that I've said it. This side of the battlefield goes hesitant for the French, as Morgan and is it Neuenstein? Is that what his name is? Yeah, Neuenstein. Both shut it down. Laval. He's going to give them the stank eye in a minute. We also lose 2nd Brigade's artillery assault goes down the Swanee. They'll be firing normal. All right, so the French will be rolling 46, Brits 3. French stink it up with a 3. British will maintain the initiative, and no charges. We're into movement phase. Do the English first. General Raymond moves up his French guys. Everyone else on the French line is kind of holding steady. Skirmishers kind of shuffled around a little bit here. These gentlemen were hesitant. I forgot to move those 2 battalions again. I'll have to move them real quick. And skirmishers moved up. And over there, those guys started moving up onto the ridge line. So we're going to get a lot of skirmish shooting here. And it's going to be fun. All right, let me move these last 2 battalions. I screwed up again. British guns are now in range, so they're starting to debate about unlimbering. Fire like banshees onto the French up on the hill. Okay, and that was the last 2 battalions right here. I moved them both. Okie dokie. So yeah, bam. Good movement phases. I'm going to get some pictures, then we'll get into skirmish shooting. Sweet. Oh, I forgot to mention these. Who's this guy? Oh, Vandeleur. His boys both just left. They went into a line formation, leaving march column. And I did forget to deploy Raymond's brigade with 4 skirmish bases, and there they are, baby. Doesn't make a big difference, but they would make a big difference in a turn or 2. All right, cotton balls are out. People are blasting away. We'll start here with the 4 bases from the King's German Legion, a rifleman firing 6 shots into the French. They did lose their skirmish tasking because they were hesitant. They're able to score a casualty on the French. Now they're up to 2 skirmish casualties. Now these 3 bases here with the skirmish tasking, so they'll get 4, 5, 7 shots onto the French. They do 2 casualties on them, blowing away a skirmish base and then leaving an extra casualty on the next base, causing a discipline check with that double 6 too. Looking for a 7 or they'll take another casualty. They take a 2nd casualty and become unformed. And then up here we have another skirmish tasking with 4 bases. So that'll get even more shots. So they go up to 5, go up to 6, they go up to 8 shots against those French skirmishers over there. Those guys. They put 2 casualties in those gentlemen. Also forcing a discipline check. Let's see if they can pass. They are able to pass, so they just stay with 2 casualties, and they are formed still. Good job there, buddies. All right, French shooting back. Might as well start with these guys. They're going to get 5 shots back at the British rifles. They inflict a casualty on Brisbane's skirmish line. These gentlemen are going to fire at the same guys they've been shooting at. They're down to 4 bases, so 5 shots. And I caught that right away. I'm 99% sure if you're unformed, yep, you lose a CD. They're just going to roll 4 shots. Let me roll that again. Oh, they have no effect at all. All right, going on to artillery. British guns moved up. They're not shooting this turn. French guns, we got 1 on assault fire and 1 not. French skirmishers are up against the bottom of the hill. You can't even see the dang boys. These guys are going to shoot at the same battalions they have been. These gentlemen here, no bounce through. Once again, the British separated their lines, try to avoid some bounce through. Both batteries are going to fire simultaneously at this This unit right here. Nope, nope. Put that unit right there. Which is the 32nd. They're not happy. They're feeling that they're getting targeted. They literally are. This is at effective range, so we're getting into really good battery fire here, unless they totally stink up the joint. Not the best shooting, but they're able to inflict 3 more casualties onto these gentlemen, raising them up to 8 casualties. There is no discipline check because it's not canister. Probably time for the 32nd to retire to the second line as they're getting wore out. They are worn now. These boys over here from the 40th are like, woo, we've been lucking out, gents. They keep looking to their left and watching those guys get butchered. All right, yuck. That'll end turn 4. The French actually could have brought their cavalry in last turn, but they decided to try to go for massive artillery fire. They need cavalry might be, could be helpful. Especially with these guys in line come charging down that hill, or charging down that road. Let's see what happens. Okay, boom. We'll see you in turn 5. As we hit turn 5, General Picton's attack is well underway. All right, we're going to do ADC availability, and we'll do our usual routine. All right, French will be trying to bring in their cavalry this turn. British can bring in their cavalry next turn if they choose. All right, here we go. Both sides will end up with 4 ADCs. The British have more ADC, one initiative last turn, so they'll place first. British are going to spend their 4 ADCs on double artillery assault on those 2 different batteries from 2 different brigades. Try to destroy French artillery up on the ridge, clear the way for the attack to go on in. That's hasn't done much, the French guns yet, but as the British get closer, just doesn't take much. A little bit of a high roll and they can really wipe somebody out. Alright, French are going to spend 1 ADC on reserve, 1 on forwards, and 1 on a reroll. And they'll have 1 left. So probably spend probably spend it on skirmish tasking up there. French will be bringing in this cavalry reserve on the road and heading into battle as soon as possible. Alright, and then they've got a skirmish tasking over here. Okay, let's see who's available this turn. We'll start off with the British. Alright, Kempt and is it Koval? Both go hesitant, which takes out the battery to the left. They lose their artillery assault. And yeah, that's terrible. Koval is needed him to go. That's okay. We'll make it work. All right, see what the French can do, and they've got an extra brigade, for another dice to represent the table as the French cavalry try to arrive. French are completely active. Laval is pumped, and his cavalry will arrive this turn during the reserve movement phase. Alright, so for initiative, the French will be rolling 2d6. The Brits will be rolling 4d6. Alright, let's see who can take control this turn. French get a 9. British get a 5. French will seize the initiative. No charges this turn. We'll get into movement. Start with the French. For the French, these skirmishers reform for Maquis. His rest of his forces stay static. They're still in defense. General Raymond continues to advance in attack column, getting up onto the hill. And then the boys from Baden, they change formation into a attack column. Probably going to start angling that way and let these gentlemen reinforce this brigade, and then these guys will create a line of retreat or support for the brigade onto the left. I might also move these attack columns over here, get out of the way of the cavalry. The French on the road under Morgan opened up the road, leaving enough space for a cavalry column to charge through there if they get a great move towards the hopefully hit the British center. We'll see. Okay, that's it for French movement. Let's do some British movement. The two British heavy columns on both their flanks continue to advance. Over here, General Power and his King's German Legion, 4 battalions, advancing towards the base of the hill of Arinez. And the heavy column over here under Brisbane has achieved landfall. They are on top of the ridge, and they're all veterans over there and advancing towards the French on the ridge. Alright, that completes on-table movement. Now we go to reserve movement, which the French are involved in. They have a forwards tasking. Let's roll that and see how far the cavalry comes on. Alright, General Avis leads on the 18 Chevaux Légers, who's campaign in line, and the 27 Chasseurs à Cheval that who are also campaign in line. And boom, they're coming in. I think they came in 31 inches on the road. Should reach the front at some point. Alright, this should be good stuff. Alright, that's the end of movement phase. That's pretty dang cool. Take a look at that going down the road. And then we'll go on into get it, son. And then we'll go on into skirmish shooting, starting with these gentlemen up on the ridge here in skirmish order tasking. French are going to get 7 shots at the British rifles. Let's see how they do. Pretty sad shooting by those French, inflicting 1 casualty on these riflemen. They go up to 2 casualties. Alright, sliding down the line, we've got the remaining 4 French bases firing straight ahead into Colville's gentlemen. They will get 5 shots. They inflict 1 casualty on those gentlemen, who will now return fire. Well, we'll start actually with what the heck's this guy's name? Oh, I'm like having to run a blank. Power's 3rd Brigade. He's got 4 bases. They're going to fire at that skirmish line. They're rifles, so 6 shots. They blow away a skirmish base of the French and put an additional casualty on another base. Now we've got these 3 British rifle bases. 5 shots into those same Frenchmen. In the words of Britney Spears, these Frenchmen say, "Hit me, baby, one more time." They take 1 more casualty, and now we go up onto the hill where these Frenchmen will take a blast from those riflemen from the from Brisbane's veteran skirmish line, and they will get 6 shots, 7 shots, because there's 4 bases and their rifles. And I apologize for not being able to do addition. That is 6 shots. Alright, 6 shots from the Brits. I apologize to Brisbane skirmish line. I think I confused them with my lack of intelligence. They muff it. No casualties to the French. That ends the skirmish firing phase. French guns are going to go active artillery-wise. Both do another blast at effective range against their old friends and see what they can do to them this time. It's been nickel and diamond the 32nd the whole way up here. And when you say that, and then you use Scott's casualty calculator, they've actually taken 500 casualties on their way. Horrific. Just a trail of bodies. The Trail of Tears going all the way back to this river back here almost. They've just been getting hit by cannonballs the entire way. Been an absolute brutal march. It's going to be time to retreat to a second line here and let the 87th Prince of Wales Zone take their turn in the front. Oh, it's been rough. Only the far British guns of Brisbane's command can fire. The other battalion, the other brigade, sorry, was hesitant, so they can't fire that far. So we're going to artillery blast, inferior, using assault fire against the French guns on the French left side of the hill of Arinez. Alright, I'll have a read here in a minute, but I'm 99% sure if it's your first time shooting, you can't go low on ammo. So they would have, if they did assault fire, they do a fatigue casualty. They take one casualty themselves. They would have gone low ammo, but because it's their first time shooting, that doesn't happen. And they do one casualty to these gentlemen up on the ridge. That ends the artillery phase. There is no melee for turn 5. Sorry, turn 5. I made it up a new number there. And we'll go on to turn 6, which British attack seems to be stalling a bit here at the base of the hill of Arinez, but we're hoping for some artillery support before going up there. So we'll maybe they'll let it stall while they continue to do the skirmish. They're definitely winning the skirmish battle up here. Little overhead drone view of the battlefield in case I haven't done it recently. See Brisbane up here advancing. Colville kind of stalled out for a turn. French continuing their lines, but also starting to shuffle on the back to move into good places to reinforce, plus bringing their cavalry on the table. The boys from Nassau, they are straight up chilling back here in Arinez, drinking all the juice. No one else can get any. We come over here, we see Powers' heavy attack column of KGL, the 95th and King's Sherman Legion boys in skirmish formation. And that ends turn 5. Turn 6, we will see British cavalry arrive. Their brigade commander is a poor commander per rules, just because he wasn't given many orders by Wellington. So you're not going to see a reserve forwards ABC ADC reroll triple threat. You can only get one ADC per turn. Per turn. All right, we'll see you then. Alright, so we arrive into turn 6. General Grant, the British cavalry commander, and his 2 regiments of British cavalry, one of which will look suspiciously German, we'll say it's KGL, are close enough to increase the ADCs of Picton's forces to 6 now. So we get 6 ADCs for the British and 5 for the French. Both sides end up with 5 ADCs, which is okay. French won initiative. They'll be placing their ADC orders, prior to the British. So let's get that done real quick. Everybody's going buck wild with their guns. The French are doing artillery assault on both their batteries. British are doing the same. French are putting an ADC reroll on their cavalry with Avi to bring them forward, and the reserve tasking for General Grant and his cavalry arriving on the road back there. So let's see how French brigade availability goes. General Morgan over here on the French left goes hesitant. That takes out his artillery batteries from getting artillery assault. They'll still be able to shoot, though, because the British are at effective range. And General Neuenstein and his Baden and... what are these guys from? Nassau troops are also hesitant. So French will be rolling 4d6 on initiative. Let's see how the Brits do. Oh, a bit of a tank. General Power with the KGL Brigade goes hesitant. General Kemp, seeing General Power milling around in confusion, he goes hesitant with his skirmishers and light infantry. And General Grant can't find the battlefield. He is not coming on. General Picton will be rolling 5d6 versus the French 4d6 for initiative. General Laval ekes it out, maintains initiative. Whoa, good job, buddy. All right, no charges this turn. We'll go on to movement. French are moving first. All right, it's time for the Reaper drone overhead after movement phase. We've got Vandalur's large battalions and veterans angling to the right, heading towards the ridge to support Brisbane. Artillery's still good. Both batteries be able to fire on assault fire this turn. Nothing hesitant there. Up on the ridge, Brisbane continues his advance. Next turn, skirmishers probably will be moving out of the way. Over here, I think it's General Colville. He's starting to pivot towards two different adversaries. One supporting the King's German Legion to his left with Power, and then two preparing to attack down the road towards Arinez. Unfortunately, French are all over that. They've got their boys there. Now the cavalry is advancing up. Probably time to start thinking about square for the British. Of course, the Neuenstein didn't move with his Badens in Nassau. Over here, Raymond, he moved forward. Now he's in a good supporting distance to support a Makire. And boom, they'll have one gun assault firing over here and one not. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Would have been nice if Power would have moved, but wasn't meant to be. Okay. So let's get on. There's no charges, we already said. That was movement. So now we go into skirmish fire. The French won. So we might as well start with these last three bases of French skirmishers that are holding out against double their number, basically. But they're going to get 4 shots. They inflict 1 casualty on the British, taking up them one of their bases to 2, and then up on the hill, 4 French bases. Bing! Firing 5 shots across at the British. They're able to inflict a casualty, taking away a skirmish base for Brisbane's skirmish line. Now they're going to return fire. Those boys are with 5 shots against the French. They inflict a casualty on the French, who had a base with 2, so they lose the skirmish base. Now we'll slide over to this nightmare in here as the British rifles open up on the 3 remaining French skirmish bases. First up, we'll get 5 shots from these rifles into them. They inflict a casualty on them, removing another base. They're down to 2 now. Power, his 4 bases of KGL skirmishers with rifles, going to blast away at the last 2 with 6 shots. KGL, no effect on the French. Woo, they like that. All right, going into artillery. French guns probably going to switch up here. Oh, I forgot to mention the 32nd did a retreat move, fell back behind the 87th. And boom, now these guys are marked with a treat, and they're on the second line now. Out behind, they're beyond range for bounce through. These guns are going to blast away at the new unit that's looking nice and juicy with our artillery assault or assault fire. So good luck to the 87th, as they're going to hit it a standard battery fire with 2 extra CDs. The close order drill moved by the British must have confused the French, because they just shoot into the ground. They go low ammo. They actually can cause a fatigue casualty on themselves, and the 87th laughs at them, so they don't do a dang thing. So that stinks. All right, over here, this French gun was fired on by British, but he was in a hesitant brigade, so we can't fire back at the British guns who are at long range. So he's going to fire into those gentlemen with bounce through standard battery fire. 40th takes a casualty from that blast. Still, overall, French guns have a pretty sad turn. This battery now that just fired is going to get wailed on by a double battery action from both the 2nd and 3rd British artillery batteries, and with extra CDs for assault fire. And although the gun on the left does a fatigue casualty on itself and goes low on ammo, they combine, and the gun on the right really just fired a blast. They take 5 casualties, going up to 7, which is devastating. They take a discipline check, and they'll step down, so they need an 8 to pass the discipline check. French guns keep it together, but it would have been nice for Laval to use a caisson on them to reduce them by 2 casualties since they're worn, but he really needs to get this battery with low ammo now back in the fight too. He's only got 1 left. So we might see an emergency limber with this battery and retreating back farther into Vitoria. And that'll end turn 6. We got a pretty good helicopter drone feed over the battlefield earlier with the movement. So, wow. Okay, we're starting to get juicy now. I'm expecting some great things the next couple of turns. We'll probably, after turn 10, we'll take a little pause and release part 1, and then finish this up with the last 10. But wow. Okay, stand by for turn 7. Time for turn 7. Let's see what ADCs are available for both sides. Once again, British rolling 6, French rolling 5 ADCs. First time ever, Laval's got more ADCs than Picton. 5 for the French, 4 for the British. Still early in this contest, neither one of the divisional commanders wants to burn a CNC roll yet. French are going to do 3 ADCs over here. 2 for forwards, 1 for a reroll on a V. He's going to try to come forward and attack the British in line before they can move, and then he's going to spend a caisson to get rid of the low ammo, and then do an artillery assault with his last 2 ADCs. The British don't have a lot of moves to counter that cavalry charge, so they're going to try to hopefully win initiative. They're going to do a forwards and an infantry assault with General Colville's brigade, go up the hill and attack the French if they can reach it. So if they can get their charge off first, they can avoid the cavalry charge. And they also spent another ADC on reserves. That'll be all 4 of their ADCs. For brigade availability, we'll start with the French, see how they do. The French don't help their initiative a ton, as Raymond and Morgan. No, Raymond and no, is that right? Hang on. That's right, Morgan is here. He goes hesitant. And then Raymond is the second line over there. Yep, he goes hesitant as well. So they're going to be rolling 46 for initiative. The forwards tasking is in effect, though, for the cavalry. So they could be going flying. Oh, the British also did an caisson to remove their low ammo, too, on their guns. Well, that's an absolute travesty, is all 3 leading British brigades go hesitant. So, oh, wow. That's Brisbane, Power, and Colville, excuse me, all shut it down up front. Oh, no. All right, well, that sucks. French will be 46, British will be 5d6 for initiative. And the British are down to 1 caisson, while the French are completely out of caissons for the time being. It ends up being a tie for initiative. The French won last turn, so they will maintain the initiative. They will launch their charge with their cavalry. Let's see if they reach. Oh, they make it easy. So French Lancers charging against the 40th. They're going to take a discipline check to form square. I think the unit behind them will probably do the same thing. And they don't really have to. But it's going to be -1. They're a line unit, so they're going to be saving his reservists. Excuse me. They're going to need an 8+ to pass this discipline check. So they fail the discipline check. I think they become unformed, and then they're just going to get butchered by lances. Yes. Okay. Here they come. Come on, 40th. Roll like a boss. This is going to suck really bad. Okay. And here comes the cavalry. All right. So we got lancers coming in against infantry in line who are unformed. Initially, the British will roll 3d6, the French will roll 2d6. The British will get 1 reroll because of their support. The French will get 1 reroll for their support and a second reroll because they are fighting against infantry in line. All right, not too bad. Right now, the British have 6. The French have 8. British are going to use their reroll. A perfectly timed counterattack by the 84th as they storm into the fray and start just going to town with their bayonets, stabbing Lancers. Oh, Lancers trying to counter back. They're going to use their just superior ability because they're on horses. And it's going to end up being 11-9. Lancers will win by 2. Let's see what that does. Well, that'll go on to the next round as we get combat with the lawn. The French will have a lawn and lances against infantry in line who are unformed at the end of the turn. Oh. All right, let's go on to movement. The French will be moving first. All right, from the Reaper drone high above the battlefield. The French on the right stayed static. Troops from Baden continued to move to their left, get ready to support the ridge with General Neuenstein. Also, the other unit from, where are these guys from? Nassau, I always forget. I always want to call them Swiss, but they're playing Nassau today. They moved up next to Arinez in the street. Now that the cavalry's moved their way through. These gentlemen were hesitant, can't do much about it. Their guns, though, did fall back. They did an emergency withdrawal. I think they get a retreat tag. I got to put that on them. Cavalry, of course, you saw that. These gentlemen are hesitant. General Vandeleur moved up. He's getting ready to try to support General Brisbane. Guns remain stationary. We did get a caisson to resupply the one, and General Kemp's boys moved up to kind of support the kind of faltering front here, which isn't moving too fast. And then General Grant comes onto the battlefield with his 2 regiments of dragoons. One of his KGL, one's British. Okay. That is the movement at the end of turn 7, I believe. And it's time for skirmish shooting. Oh, actually, sorry, I forgot. These French skirmishers withdrew behind their units. They have 2. They don't want to cause a falter. And since I forgot to move the French, the British skirmishers moved up onto the ridge to engage the French close order infantry. So this is nothing stopping them now. I'll have to get the cotton out. The French, with the British skirmishers coming up in front of the French lines, they're able to fire on them, even if it will be a step down firing at skirmish units. But they're going to fire artillery and everything at them, try to wear them out. They definitely are losing the skirmish battle to the British like usual. Okay, that's time for skirmish fire. Where do we go? I think we got the only ones over here, I think, for the French. French have 3 bases, firing at the British with 4 shots. Oh, buddy. They do 1 casualty to the British line. That's the end of the French skirmish shooting. So the British will start firing back. They got 3 bases here, shooting 5 shots at the French. French skirmishers suffer a casualty. Now you got 3 bases of British firing at the 2nd Battalion. I can't even see that far. Maybe the 24th. 5 shots. One of the die shot out of the dice trace. We'll re-roll that real quick. 1 casualty for the French from those gentlemen. Now this skirmish line, only thing I didn't think about when I put the British skirmishers up here, I basically blocked all the British artillery, so they won't be shooting this turn. But these, they might do better. 6 shots into the 1st Battalion, 24th. I'm guessing those guns would have probably done better, but oh well. All right, so artillery fire. Only thing it's going to be able to shoot are these French artillery pieces. They're going to fire a canister. They'll get down to inferior blast, but they'll get the extra dice for canister, and they have artillery assault. They blow away a skirmish base with 4 casualties, leave 1 additional casualty on another base. Now we'll get the infantry fire. It'll be an inferior blast from these gentlemen shooting at the skirmishers. Oh, they tear into them. They do 3 more casualties, blowing away another skirmish base. And now they're going to take a discipline check. Maybe going up on that ridge wasn't the best idea. Those boys from the 60th Royal American, oh, those are actually KGL guys, KGL Lights. They love it. They pass it with a double 6. That's beautiful. Now we'll get another volley fire from these gentlemen to these 3 remaining bases. They do 1 casualty to those skirmishers. They had 1 already. They had 2 already on a base, so they lose another base, and they're down to 2 as well. So the British and KGL skirmishers win the skirmish battle, only to climb up onto the hill of Arinez and get shredded by canister fire and excellent volley fire from the French. They're going to have to fall back now with 2 remaining bases on each. And that leads us to the final part of the battle, the final part of round 7, turn 7. The hand-to-hand with the French Lancers with a lawn versus the unformed British in line. 40th is going to be rolling 4 dice. The Lancers going to be rolling 8. Oh gosh, because they're Lancers with a lawn and they're Lancers versus foot. And the British are unformed. So, that sucks. Alright, here we go, baby. Oh no, the 40th. They do 1 casualty to the Lancers. They suffer 4 themselves. They go up to 5 casualties. They are dispersed. They take off running as Lancers just start stabbing them. That's horrible. Oh no. General Picton is going to look at them in dismay as they the survivors file off the battlefield. Oh. Turn 7 comes to an end. That's General Grant better get up here and take care of these French cavalry, which are loose in the British center. No bueno. Okay. Let's see what happens in turn 8. Alright, it's turn 8. Got to pick up some hesitant markers to see who's how many ADCs are active this turn. Just to pre-apologize, you might hear some bings in the background. My wife's, well, my mother-in-law had shoulder surgery the other day, so she's kind of convalescing at her house. So if she needs something, I'm down here, she'll call me on my phone. So can't turn the ringer off, otherwise I will get in trouble. Alright guys, let's do some dice rolling. And I did forget to add at the end of the last turn that Colville is faltering with the British 2nd Brigade after his brigade was destroyed by the Lancers there. Oh boy. Alright, so a little bit more command strain on the British. British use their ADCs. They'll put the brigade rally order with a reroll on Colville, and they'll put a forwards tasking on Grant. Try to get this cavalry for the British involved as soon as possible before it all goes to complete. Poop. Sorry, this cough has been irritating. Alright, let's see what the French are going to do. Oh, they have 5 ADCs and the British had 4. French are going to put an artillery assault with a reroll over there on a 1st Brigade, and then a reroll and a glory tasking over here on Avi with the French cavalry. They try to continue the assault. Alright, let's do, we'll start with the French. See which brigades are available, which ones are hesitant. Neuenstein continues to struggle with his German brigade in the back here. In the rear with the gear, they are hesitant again. Everything else is active for the French. If you can believe it, Power goes hesitant again. He's not interested in going up that hill. General Colville wavered. They chose to retreat. So they form up behind these gentlemen back here. They form back into a heavy column. All 3 guys are marked with retreat. I think each battalion takes 2 CDs damage as well. And everything else is following orders. So they'll be rolling 46 for initiative. And plus the brigade remains wavering, which kind of sucks. Their skirmish line is also recalled back into the formation, so they're gone as well. Alright, these gentlemen take 1 casualty. That is the 84th. 87th takes 1. They're up to 4. And I forgot, any unit that's within 2 of dispersal is dispersed. So they had 10 casualties. 12's their max. So the 32nd is dispersed during that wavering retreat. The brigade was already faltering, so no additional falter for that unit dispersing. Oh, terrible. All right, that's ugh. Now we can do initiative, where the I think the British are rolling 4d6 and the French are rolling 3d6. Now that Colville has fallen back, Avi can't reach anything. He can reach the skirmish line here, but they'll just fall back, and then he'll be stuck out in the middle of the open in front of artillery and possibly in canister range. So no charges this turn. We'll go on to the movement, and the French will be moving first. We need to see what Grant's forward's bonus is. Let's roll that real quick. Alright, do a little round the world. Neuenstein stayed still with the Baden boys and the guys from, that I can never remember, Nassau. French cavalry pulled back so they don't turn into a piñata for the British artillery. General Morgan kind of started moving around his troops to try to outflank the British, but of course he had to move first. So the British responded to that and peeled off the 35th to deal with the newcomers, and then moved up into close range musketry range. The skirmishers both fell back behind their respective brigades. Fill the gap by Colville's guys retreating. Kempt brought up his light battalions in skirmish order. His skirmishers moved up, and they're going to engage General Morgan's boys in the flank, which sucks for them. General Vandeleur continued to move his large battalions up towards the ridge. British artillery zeroing in on French guns. General Grant got a good move. I think it was 32 inches or something like that, bringing his cavalry down the road towards the battlefield. You saw the retreating and faltering Colville down to 2 battalions left of his brigade, and then struggling General Power. Over here the French held position with both of their brigades here, just kind of not really feeling any kind of pressure, so they're just kind of just sitting the same formation they have been. Their one artillery piece is pulled off the line. All right, let's now we can get into skirmish shooting. See if we got any first. Oh, I guess we do have these. These guys had 2 battalions left. They pulled them back. And when I say battalions, I mean skirmish bases, which aren't even close. Good job, Steve. All right, and boom. All right, we're done with that. The French don't have any shooters, skirmishers, so the British have one right here. 5 bases of 95th, so that's going to be a lot. So 7 shots into the, just because those guys are close range. No, they'll shoot at them too. They're not in hand to hand. 7 shots into this French battalion here on the ridge. 2nd Battalion 96 suffers 2 casualties prior to being hit by the 35th. That'll end skirmish shooting. French guns within 45 degrees of the KGL, so they're going to fire at them with their artillery assault and bounce through. 17-inch range. This will be a standard battery blast with the extra 2 CDs and 1 bounce through die. They both suffer 1 casualty. Not the best shooting. So 3rd Battalion's up to 2 and 4th Battalion's up to 2 casualties. No discipline check because it wasn't canister. Now we've got the British guns just firing ineffective fire at the French guns here. There will be bounce through into these now, because these guys are, if you look, these guys are almost doing the reverse slope thing. They're back behind the ridge, so no bounce through. Just inferior blasts against these gentlemen. 1 casualty to the French guns, taking them up to 2. That'll end the artillery phase, and then in volley fire, it's all over here. French will fire first. We're on a hill with the 2nd Battalion 96, who moved, firing into the 35th. 35th Suffers 1 casualty from that. Now we'll get the 1st Battalion 88th firing into the King owns the Kingos, as I guess they are called, the 4th. That French battalion did not move, so they absolutely crushed the 4th with 4 casualties. They take a discipline check. Ouch. They are veterans, so looking for a 6. The 4th love it. They just kind of laugh at that. Now they fire back with a veteran blast at the French. Oh my gosh, these guys do not like each other. They hit these guys back with 3 casualties. They take their own discipline check, looking for a 7. French keep it together. Now the 35th, another veteran British unit blasting away into this unit downhill from them. They do 3 more casualties to them. They're up to 5 casualties now. They got to take a discipline check. They need a 7. Alright, those gentlemen passed that, and that'll end the volley phase, and will also end turn 8. As looking pretty bloody up on the ridge. The British get a toehold up there. Not able to move much forward over here. And we've got 2 more British battalions, both large, getting ready to go up onto the ridge too. They're there to support. These boys better get together so they can act like supports for Kemp's brigade. Otherwise, can't count on Power. He's been hesitant more than anything. So we'll see what happens. See you in turn 9. Alright, time for turn 9. ADC availability is really starting to heat up now. It'll probably be a lot hotter if General Power could actually not be hesitant for the entire game. Alright, let's see who's available for both sides. The British still have 1 faltering brigade. Oh, alright. General Picton ends up with 6 ADCs. General Laval with 4. French 1 initiative. Let's see how where they place their ADCs at. French throw everything on General Avi. He's going to get a forwards tasking, a glory, and a reroll on the French cavalry. Probably going right down the gut. Charge of the light brigade style. British throw 2 ADCs. One for the faltering brigade with a reroll, trying to give them the best shot possible, which didn't work last turn. Well, at least they didn't get a swap kipe. And then they're also going to go buck wild with General Power. Need to get the Germans involved. Glory forwards and a reroll. You're going to try to go in and attack up here. Just because I have my dice template all set up for the British, we'll check them first and see how many of their brigades are active or not. Oh, it's the greatest day ever for General Picton. Everything follows orders. General Colville, he's hesitant. He rallies to hesitant. The retreat comes off the 84th and the 87th. They are unformed. They can reform in the movement phase. General Power moving forward like a boss. And yeah, that's good stuff. Let's go ahead and do the French, see if they have the same success. Right now the British will be rolling 2d6 for initiative. General Lavi sends his the ADC back to General Laval, asking, "What? I don't feel like charging out there in front of cannons." He wants to make sure it's not a mistake. They go hesitant, waiting on that reconfirm. And General Raymond, he doesn't know what to do. He's just sitting back here doing nothing. So he actually had to probably use the bathroom. He's wandered off to Arinez to dig a hole, and would do whatever. Relieve himself. I think that's the correct term. Alright, so the French will be rolling 4d6, British 2d6. The French had all of their ADCs tied up with the cavalry, so they're all gone. Nothing happens. It's kind of sad. And forgot to mention, if you didn't hear the last turn, my phone, I have to leave my ringer on. Usually I silence it, but my mother-in-law is upstairs, and right now she's in a group text with all my daughters, so I'm getting blown up. So if you're the ding ding, that's it. Sorry about that. General Picton absolutely crushes the initiative phase, winning it out, seizing the initiative back. He's going to try a charge with General Power. Let's see what their movement bonus is. This is rough terrain, so they're only going to go half movement, so they might not make it, but they're going for it. Yes, with a great move, they actually make it. They had like 2 inches to spare. So they get to the target, the charge will go in. Unfortunately for them, they will be met with canister shot and a volley from the 1st Battalion 24th on the way in. And we'll do that now. Oh, here we go. Cannon shooting first. It's going to be brutal. It will be penetration and all kinds of good stuff, whatever the word is. But basically, there's going to be penetration. 3rd Battalion of the KGL takes 3 casualties, going up to 5. They'll take a discipline check. 4th Battalion takes 1 casualty as all the canister fire goes right through those guys and hits them. They'll be up to 3. Now we'll do the volley fire as they run in towards the French Line Battalion, who have a panic attack. Oh, they have an uncontrolled volley, causing fire discipline throughout the battalion. Oh, not good. That could be the window they were looking for. The big thing for that is 3rd Battalion KGL they have 3 casualties from that blast, so they will be rolling 3d6 in the charge, but they're not warned because the French line unit totally choked, so they're not going to be rolling 4d6. All right, in the charge, the French will be rolling 2d6. Allies will be, or the Germans will be rolling 3d6. Support-wise, I know the Germans have 1. I got to check on artillery. The artillery did fire though, so I don't think that means they can support. But let me double check that real quick, and then they have 1 support behind them. They chose to shoot, so they are not going to be able to provide an extra reroll. These gentlemen will. And so both sides will have 1 reroll. Holy cow. Great roll by the British. They ended with a 9 with 3 dice. Unfortunately for them, the French get a 10. Well, I don't think it's worth a reroll, to tell you the truth. They do have glory, but I think that pays off in the hand-to-hand, if I remember correctly. Not worth trying to push the limit here for the KGL. They will halt. They'll become unformed. They're going to fire a inferior volley, but they're drilled, so they get an extra CD to that into the French. They hammer them with 3 casualties, forcing a discipline check because they're drilled. They're up to 4 now for the 24th, 1st Battalion. And let's do that discipline check. Looking for a 7. They pass a discipline check. Alright, that ends the charge phase. Alright, the charge complete. It's time for movement phase. Let's see what happens. Be right back. Movement-wise, General Grant continues to advance his cavalry towards the battlefield. These guys reformed. Skirmishers move forward slightly. They don't want to mask the artillery. They want to soften them up. The boys from Baden moved back. They're going to the left. Also, the Nassau unit not inside of Arinez moved forward a little bit. These gentlemen were hesitant along with the French cavalry. No movement here. These guys already moved. Nothing too remarkable. Alright, there we go. Let's get into skirmish shooting. Which is these gentlemen firing into that same battalion again. 5 bases of rifles. 7 shots into those guys. Alright, that battalion is now worn with 6 casualties, and yeah, no fun. French artillery is already fired. The 2 British guns, really with nothing else to shoot at, are going to blast at this battalion up on the hill. They're going to combo fire inferior blasts against them. British guns fire up onto the ridge, do 2 more casualties to that line battalion up the French behind the smoke. They're up to 3 now. That'll end the artillery phase as we move on to volley fire. Alright, the King's Own fire a well-disciplined volley into these gentlemen. These guys have been wearing each other out. Alright, they're shooting first. French get hammered for 4 more casualties. The 1st Battalion, 88th, is up to 7 now. They have to take a discipline check. They'll be as reservists because now they're worn. Looking for an 8. Yes, they passed. Nice job by the Frenchmen. Now the 35th will fire downhill at those gentlemen that have been getting shot from every single direction. See how they can do. They are a veteran battalion. Alright, they get crushed for 4 more casualties. We'll do the destiny roll from the double 6 from the 35th. Oh, wow. But not yet. I forgot. They've got to pass their discipline check. They need an 8+. Oh yes, the French keep it together. They pass. Now they'll begin to fire back. Correct term once again, sorry, is inferior volley. Weak is the single combat dice volley. They put that 1 CD back on the 35th. They just got off. And now we'll get a weak volley from 1st Battalion 88th into the 4th. That inferior volley rate does 1 casualty, raising the 4th to 5 casualties now. And that'll be the end of turn 9. Heading into turn 10, I think it's a good place to pause. If I guess right, the battle report's coming up on 2 hours. It's really, the game is anybody's right now. Both sides are inflicting damage upon one another. The British have definitely taken more casualties, but the superior British musketry is starting to take its toll on the Frenchmen as units are getting blasted by superior volley fire. British guns are rolling into combat now too, and looks like General Kemp's Light Brigade is about to get into the action as well. And these gentlemen, I don't know, they got to get back together, and hopefully the British cavalry can also make moves forward. But although the French front line is starting to crack a little bit, there is General Laval has actually done a pretty decent job, if I don't say so myself, of putting in supporting brigades behind him. He's got the Neuenstein's boys starting to filter in over there. They're probably getting the line next turn. And and then over here we got what's this guy's name? I always forget. General Raymond in position to support the French on top of Arinez at the ridge line. All right, as the KGL comes roaring at them. So yeah, that's great. All right, so this will be the end of part 1. Continue to play, get part 2 out as soon as I can. We're scheduled for 20 turns. No idea if we'll make it that far, but we're going to have a good time no matter what. I appreciate you guys watching this. I love comments and help and any kind of tactical advice or game advice, any kind of things I might have got wrong. Please do. If you haven't watched the end of the 1815, or at least the pause of the 1815 What If campaign video, you can check that out. It's got some future plans for Scott and I in that one. I think I'll put a link to our Facebook group I started. I know Facebook's not everybody's thing, but until we come up with another idea, might try to just make a Discord channel too. Get that out there as well. I'll talk to Scott about that and see what his thoughts are. We talked about a couple different ideas, and we will hammer it out in the future. Just trying to be more part of the community and get more people involved in miniature wargaming, basically. Even if it's playing with us or playing with somebody else, that's just great. Historical wargame is great, and I'm looking forward to my first gaming convention with Historicon in a couple of weeks. This game will definitely be done by then. I'm hoping I can put a big chunk into my Prussians before then too, and have them wrapped up. Come back and get them on the battlefield doing something else. Okay, you guys are great. We'll see you in part 2 hopefully shortly, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week. You're awesome. I'll see you. Bye.